we went last year, Mary, who is the director of the boys' home there, she talked about us being a family after we spent the time with them last year. And that's exactly what it is. It's a family that we now belong to in Honduras. And so I couldn't wait to go back. Even with all the COVID-19 stuff going on, people telling us that we should be afraid, not once on the trip there or while we were actually in Honduras did I feel afraid.
I knew God was in control then, and He will be throughout the whole trip. I went this year because I went last year mainly, and couldn't wait to get back there. I just wanted to see the boys and what they were doing at that time.
I went back to Honduras this year so we could build on the relationships that we developed last year and get to know the people and the boys on a deeper level. I didn't have fears going back because any fears that we had were diminished last year after going. Even after everything we went through this year, I'm ready to go back.
The reason I decided to go back this year was the fact that within the first few hours that we were there last year, we just felt that connection. Couldn't wait to come back because we knew we had to leave, but we already wanted to be back. I didn't have any concerns before we left. I was just ready to get back.
My favorite thing about the trip would be the uncertainty that happened throughout the entire 2 weeks of chaos. It was fun in a sense to watch how people reacted, and I noticed that the ones that have been consumed with Pastor Craig for so long, we all had this sense of relief and calmness. We knew that God was going to provide, and He provides in every situation of our life, whether it's what we think should happen or not. And so it was fun to watch everything that He's been saying for years to us come into play.
I think the fact that we unintentionally got a bonus week, it allowed us to not only develop a better relationship with the boys, I feel like they feel more comfortable with us and they seem to open up a lot more.
My favorite thing about the trip was getting that extra week to spend down there. Things are pretty hectic in the States, and so getting to spend time in a very peaceful environment and spend more time to get to connect with the boys and do more construction was a big part of the experience for me.
Probably whenever I finally had to drop to my knees and pray to God and get closer to Him, I had a lot of peace being there and with the boys and with our group, but I knew that this trip was mainly for a lot of us to grow closer to Him on certain things. It was a little bit of a roller coaster, the whole airlines being up and down and their government laws there, but probably just being more closer to Him and having more faith in Him than I've ever had before.
The hugs. They were always just so quick to run up and give you a hug, even if they didn't even know you. The boys were just so kind and just so sweet.
He told me that we have to have patience because we were kind of stuck there, but it wasn't necessarily like a bad thing, like there was good that came out of it. We shouldn't have just been there like grieving because we wanted to go home. We like made the best out of it.
Patience. It seems like life is always in such a hurry and everything, and over there we didn't have a choice but to be patient. There was a lot of days we stayed at the hotel the whole time and made us, reflect on God and what His purpose was for us to be over there.
That we are never in control as much as we think we're in control. No matter what, you're not in control. A couple of days before we left, they had one case, so that was reassuring to me that it was okay to go and take your family. But once you got there, I think they had 38 cases, something like that. So it still wasn't bad. But once they got their 6th or 7th case in Honduras, they shut the whole country down. So to show you that you're definitely not in control of your life, it was big.
I feel like God really showed me that I couldn't depend on this world. In the United States, they were more worried about their toilet paper. And where we were, the people there were so kind that they weren't even getting paid, and they still wanted to serve us. They still wanted us to eat with them, even though they couldn't hardly go to the grocery store and get food, It made me look at people in a whole different perspective, but mainly the people that had, a serving heart from God. It made me appreciate and cherish them more than the craziness that was going on in this world.
I really wasn't into going on the trip, and honestly didn't see a reason why to go. But after going down there, meeting the boys, seeing the place, hearing the story of the boys and the school, had a complete change of heart.
I would say that God asked us to trust Him. Lots of times we say that we trust God, but until you're in a situation where you don't know what's fixing to happen, you don't know how much you aren't really trusting God. And then the things that we were faced with, we just had to sit and wait, and we had to let God work it out on our behalf.
Perfect.
Blissful.
Peaceful.
Unique.
Unforgivable.
Amazing.
It was fun.
Eye-opening. It was eye-opening on so many different levels because we were able to see, we saw God move. We saw each one of the people that were with us reach out and place their trust in God. It was eye-opening that you can spend 16 days, 14 days with some of them, 16 days with other people, and we still come out and we still love each other, and we really are a big family. And it was eye-opening to see that that was pretty amazing. It was eye-opening to see the people that reached out to us and cared about us, and to be able to see that. Lots of times you feel like you're out of sight, out of mind, but the people that reached out and reached out to just to check on us meant so much.
Amazing. It was amazing how you take 21 people that end up having to be there an extra 7 days together in a motel or at the boys' home, and we all got along. We all chipped in, took care of each other, took care of the little ones. I'd do it again.
Yes, I want to stay there for a month next time I go back, and because I just feel like that's like a second home. Like, I always feel safe there, and like even when I'm here, I always want to be there.
Yes, I would go back for a third time. It's an experience. I recommend it to anybody that's thinking about doing something like that. You will not regret it.
Yes, because the last thing that one of those boys said to me is, "You come back," and how do you look at that face and say no?
Yeah, I will be going back. I mean, it's just something, I think as followers of God, that's something you're called to do, is to go on mission trips. We love Honduras and the boys of Honduras, and Mary is an amazing person. Jim Cook with Heart for Children, and his passion for the Honduran people and the boys in particular that we deal with, will definitely be going back.
I will go back to Honduras, probably sooner than later. A very big part of my heart is stuck in Honduras. The people, not just the boys are absolutely amazing, but those people down there, they deserve help. And so I will go back, whether it's on fundraising money or my own money. I will find a way to get back down there to them, because everything that I have is a gift from God, and much is given, much is expected. And so I will give everything I have that I can to them, and once I get down there, I'll be the hands and feet as much as I can, and give them everything that I got.
Absolutely, as soon as I can. Whenever you go to Niños de la Luz in Honduras, it's life-changing. You develop so many friendships, you develop this sense of gratefulness to be in the country that you are, America, at least for me it is. And you just get so attached to those sweet little boys who constantly want to be holding your hand or having their arm around you, and loving you and showing you a different kind of love.
Pray about it. If God really wants you to go, the opportunity is going to open up for you, and you just have to take that leap of faith. He will provide financially for you to get there. I never thought that I would be able to fundraise all 5 of us to get to Honduras, and we did. He wanted us there for a reason. He changed all of our hearts, and He will get you there.
Don't be afraid. You're going to do work for Him. He's gonna help you through it and be there.
Oh, don't think twice about it. God's always there for you. He's going to be with you the whole time. I feel like that we wouldn't be going to a place that if there was a risk, I would encourage anyone that had the chance to go, to go.
I would say that that's okay, to be afraid. I had it put to me one time that mission work isn't always Africa or Honduras, It can be local mission work, your neighbor, co-workers, impoverished areas, rich areas. If that's not your thing, that's not your thing. If that's not your calling or what you feel God needs you to do, it's okay.
If it's God's will, I would say go. God would be with you. Like I was talking to a guy I worked with yesterday, and he said, when you left, you were doing God's work, and God had your back. So, and that's what it is all about. God is with us.
For anybody that's afraid to do mission work or travel abroad in that way, I would say, of course, you want to pray about it, but take a leap of faith and talk to the people that have been there, because they can tell you stories that will change your perspective and your mindset in a heartbeat.
Oh, so many different times. Like I just mentioned, we had a roller coaster of feelings through this whole trip, but we saw God through many of the things that we experienced. We had our friend Jim Cook, who was with us. Getting him home into safety was a miracle. He was one of the few people that were able to get flights out when he did, and the connections that our team members had in place to make that all come together was nothing short of miraculous.
Every day, God did something miraculous. From, I don't know, there was too much to even try to say, but I feel like he worked miracles every single day we were there.
I think the whole thing was because we had 1 week to go down there, and being on the construction crew, we were away from the boys. But because of the way it turned out, we ended up with more time hanging out with them and at the school that probably wouldn't have happened if that wasn't the case.
I think throughout the time we were there, God just every day brought the whole group closer and closer and closer together. And, we prayed together, we cried together, we did everything you could imagine together. And, it was amazing. Amazing, that's the only word you can say.
There were so many moments that God did miraculous things. I think just the peacefulness overall in our group. Every time I would have to go knock on doors at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night and say, hey, another flight got canceled, people were just like, okay, what's next? And it shocked me every time, but it was God giving them a peace about what was going on. There was a moment where we thought Jim was going to run out of medication, and he said he had dug through his bag looking for his extra supply and didn't find it. And the next day, whenever he was kind of starting to get, I think, a little more panicky, he found more medication in his bag after he had already looked. And I can only explain that as a God thing. And then there were moments of the boys opening up that I would say were almost miraculous, because they wouldn't have done that if we weren't there for 2 weeks and if we weren't spending that kind of time with them. Because normally we would have been in the schools or doing medical and not spending all of our time with them. So I think that in itself is miraculous.
Kind of how they were really like interactive, and they weren't constantly sitting on their phones.
They were happy because they had a big family of boys, and they had somewhere to live.
Just be grateful for what you have and don't take advantage of it.
Just appreciating what I have. Just you looking to see what some of those people that they don't have, and it's something that everyone has here. Just appreciating what we have that they don't.
So Jim is our Heart for Children representative. We traveled with him last year as well. He is a double lung transplant survivor. And this was his 3rd year, celebrating his 3rd anniversary of life in that respect. And he had enough medication. He had been there for quite some time before we got there, and we met him there. And he had enough medication to make it through to the 29th, which would have been almost the day that he could have gotten out of there as far as commercial flights went. So we were really concerned about him. If he got any kind of cold, if he did catch this COVID-19, anything like that, he would have been in serious trouble. He needed his doctors back home. He needed the medication. The medication that he was running out of was his anti-rejection for his lungs. So if he ran out of that, it didn't mean illness, it meant death for him. So when people were asking us, why we weren't afraid, why we weren't concerned with getting ourselves home, it was because all of our energy was focused on getting him home. He was in danger. We just wanted to be home. So we had to put things in perspective in that respect. Mary is the sweetest soul on the planet, I think. She is, I don't know her official title actually, but I think she's more of like the director over Niños de la Luz, the boys' home there. They have someone else named No Way who does the school side of things. He's the administrator for the school, but Mary is over Niños de la Luz, and she is mama. There's 21 boys there. There's 21 boys at the home, and she is mama to all of them. And you can just tell when she walks in that there is a respect and a gentleness and affection toward her from all those boys that most moms in the United States probably don't get. So Mary, she's just an amazing person. She's someone that I think everybody needs to meet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to everybody who bought bread and cookies and pepperoni bread and everything that we sold. That's the only way I would have been able to do it was with the fundraising. I had a group from my college friends that messaged me every single day. We're praying for you. We can't wait to hear about the trip when you get back. I mean, it was every single day. At least one of them reached out, and other people too. But they were just so consistent every single day. And I want to thank everyone who gave money to get us home. That was stressful for us, and so that really eased, I think, everybody's tensions.
Definitely thank you. I wouldn't have gone down there without their help and had the change of heart that I did.
To everyone that supported us before and during the trip, thank you. Saying thank you is so simple, but it means so much to every one of us that you helped get us to Honduras, to help us do the mission that God's placed on our hearts. Even getting us back home, thank you. That was above and beyond everything that you've already given, and we just can't say anything other than thank you.
To everyone that did support us, I thank you 1,000 times. Every time we asked for donations or anything, for the ones that was always there stepping up to help us, just thank you so much.